Okay, today I'm going to do a quick discussion on the four scariest cards of the tarot deck. I think obviously, sometimes people get really concerned um, that they're going to get scary cards in their reading. I think it's one of the reasons why lots of people maybe are afraid to get readings or have some anxiety as they do a tarot reading. Um, in reality, I believe there's nothing really like ominously scary. I think everything in the tarot is there for your benefit, but I at least want to take you through what people perceive to be some of the scariest cards so that you can have a better background understanding before you may see them in any tarot readings. If you like this, please subscribe, like it, send it to friends, and then check out the links in the bio if you want any of the readings or book anything for yourself. So I think on the far left side, you've got I think what people traditionally think of as the scariest cards. I'm going to go through why these are not very scary at all. Um, First is being the devil. I think there's a broad cultural representation of what that may mean, and people get really nervous when they see that. But in the tarot, what it really just means is the tarot is really designed to help you figure out, tarot translated by the way. So it kind of says what are you meant to do here on earth? What's your spiritual journey? And then how can the cards help you identify your spiritual journey and get you on your best spiritual path. So on that course, being one of the major arcana cards, the devil's real purpose is to tell you or give you a warning to say, hey, to make sure you're on your best or proper spiritual journey, don't get bogged down on like the earthly, superficial things, the shiny objects that can kind of trap you or distract you from what you're meant to do on this earth. And that could be the very stereotypical things of money, power, possessions, status, fame, fortune, all those kinds of things that we think of or we tend to overvalue here on the earthly plane. Kind of make you say, hey, don't get bogged down with those types of things. Make sure that you are kind of keeping yourselves on a spiritual path, because I would think most of us are intended to be through this life and this plan to help other people and to assist people on their journeys. So I think this is just a clear reminder to do that. The next one, of course, is death. I think people obviously worry what that means, like they're going to die, someone they love is going to die when that pops up in a reading, but that's not really the purpose of this card. I've actually come to really appreciate this card. What it really is kind of like a 9 in numerology. There has to be just an ending or wrapping up, kind of a clearing the field before you can move on to your next cycle of life, and then whatever was meant to come to you for that. So it's really just kind of before you can move on to your future or level up, if that's when you want to think about it, you kind of have to let go of some things for the past. And then truly, and I think a lot of relationship readings where I see the death card come up is a relationship, maybe they broke up with you or you feel that relationship was taken away from you, but and in the moment, of course, you're really panicked, and that oftentimes that's why people kind of seek out the reading to say, what happened to this relationship? I really didn't want it to end, I still want to hang on to it, or how do I get it back? And really what this card kind of tells you is, it's gonna feel painful in the short term, but after a while you're gonna soon realize that ending that relationship or whatever it was is the best thing for you, and it's going to help you move you forward on your journey. But I obviously think the deep part of it is that aspect of it feeling like it was taken from you, when really when you think about yourself, it's like maybe I wasn't strong enough. In hindsight, being 2020, I can see that situation, that relationship wasn't right for me and wasn't allowing me to grow as I needed to. But in the moment, you may have felt it, but you weren't strong enough to take any action for yourself. So this is almost like, your guardian angels or spirit guides, whatever you believe in, kind of had to step in and then remove that situation from you, even though maybe you didn't want it at that time, because that's what's best for you moving forward. So I think over here on the right side, these are probably the lesser known. But once you really get into a little bit of background in tarot, these can be kind of seen as perceived as the more scarier cards that can come up in a reading. The Tower certainly being the case. The Tower really says, you end up with that feeling of kind of the rug being pulled out from under you. And it says really something that you put a lot of attachment or trust or faith in was proven to be false. And that could be individuals, companies, relationships, situations, whatever the case may be in your specific reading. It's, in a more Eastern Buddhist kind of things, the warnings of being overly attached to things. The idea is you put your faith and trust in something, um, and it proved to be false, or it proved to disappoint you. So basically says that that's why you get the feeling of kind of the rug being swept out from under you, because something you really kind of like, why tower falling, something you really built in or thought was strong, like a 4 in numerology that you thought had a strong foundation, whether it's a specific career or a specific relationship, and you found out it was built on false promises, false principles, something that just wasn't right from the beginning, that kind of eroded that structure, and then eventually it all came tumbling down. And then I think the last one on the far right is the moon. I personally don't think it's one of this, the super scary card when you get into reading, but I think the idea behind it, that it's the unknowing sort of the part of it, is what caused people concern. So the moon in general is kind of more of an idea. The main takeaway tends to be is to really get in touch with your subconscious. I recommend people do dream journaling, wherever the case may be, to really figure out what's going on behind the scenes. But when a moon comes up in the reading, it kind of suggests that there are things working behind the scenes. I wouldn't say completely off and against you, but it can be, if you're in a workplace environment that's very gossipy. It could be people trying to undermine you or undermine your work behind the scenes that you may not know about. Or if if it's in relationships or something like that, there could be other people trying to undermine the strength of your relationship or weaken that without you knowing. And I think that's just the aspect of the moon that's the most concerning. Is like, as of right now, it is hidden from you, so you are not aware of what is currently going on at the moment, and that's why you need to get in touch with your subconscious. That kind of moon aspects of your personality to kind of gain some insight into the situation and see how you can move forward. So, in wrap up, I think these are the 4 what people perceive to be the scariest cards of a tarot reading. So, hopefully, by giving you a little bit of background ahead of time before you see them in any of your readings, you can see that none of them are ominously scary to see, but they all kind of are just kind of warnings or guides to help you make sure you stay on your best spiritual journey. Thanks.